All right, here we go. We should be live. So, for those of you who may be seeing this, basically this is my live Q&A where I'm just going to be sitting here working on a song unless questions pop up, which are preferred. So I'm encouraging everyone to ask questions, make this more of a social thing, you know, so make it more enjoyable and fun for everyone. But yeah, so I'm just gonna be working on this song that I have in production, and yeah, let's get this underway. Also, if needed, don't be afraid to tell me uh, if my levels need to be higher or lower. Uh, you know, yeah, because I'm not directly monitoring what's going on, so you guys will have to be my feedback. I'm anticipating this being like last time, where the questions start coming in around like 15 or so minutes in. So this is the part you got to weed through. So for the people coming in now, remember, just don't be afraid to ask questions. I'm just gonna be here working on some projects, unless otherwise. Yeah. So hopefully we can get a bunch of people in here and have a nice little group chat going on. Yeah, like I stated last time, the last time I did this, I didn't give much heads up, so it took about 15-20 minutes for some people to start coming in. So we might need to wait through that. I see some people are starting to join now, so hopefully we can start to get things snowballing. And I actually have a system down now, so I know what's going on. Hey, thanks, DJ Skivik. Believe that's how you pronounce it. Appreciate it. Like I said before, don't be afraid to tell me. Well, first, ask me any questions. Second, to tell me if my levels need to be up or down because I'm not monitoring the audio right now. So yeah, don't be afraid to let me know. Yes. All right. All right. So let me know how that is level wise. I could also be talking a little quiet too. That could be a possibility. But hopefully that's a little bit better. I just want to try to avoid clipping, so all right, hopefully that's a lot better. Nothing like a good old ARP. What key is this song in? Ugh. I don't want. I've been using FL Studio for 6 or 7 years, I want to say. just about that time, but I've only been decent enough to produce full songs for about 2 years. So I've been using it for quite some time. Definitely the hardest part is trying to find a good sound. Well, let's just try to find a good chord progression. Once again, for people just kind of strolling in here, this is a live Q&A, so just feel free to ask questions. If I don't get questions, I'm just going to be working on music, so feel free to, ask me about whatever I'm working on or whatever floats to your mind, because this is just supposed to be like a social environment, and I figured that the longer it goes on, the more people will come in, hopefully. If not, then for the few people that do come in, hopefully it's fun for them. But it is hard on such short notice, because I've tried this in the past and it's worked out pretty well, where we've gotten like 20 or 30 viewers, and we had a nice discussion going in the chat. But it is hard on such short notice, because people aren't always on YouTube, so you kind of have to play by chance, and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. So hopefully we can get a bunch of people in here, share this link to your friends or whatever, get a bunch of people in here, and let's have a good conversation. Hopefully I can get a good filter on there. I like that filter. Browse parameters. Filter a cutoff? No. Where would that be? Aha, got it. All right, so just throw a filter on that. Maybe I can change something about the second half of this little pluck melody. What is up, Frank Laro? Glad someone is now typing in the chat, because for those of you just tuning in, I do see now that we have a little bit more people than we did before. But this is just a live keep that that I'm here to open or ask. Wow, I cannot talk today. I am here to answer questions. I'm open to any questions that you guys have, so feel free to comment on that, and just throw down questions. And I have the chat open here, so I am going to keep my eye on that and see what you guys are asking. But until we get a bunch of questions down, I am just going to be working on music, so that too. And yeah, once we get more people in here, yeah, we'll have a nice little discussion, have some Q&A, and hopefully this will go pretty smoothly. I see we have a lot more people rolling in now, so like I said, I'm gonna you guys are gonna see it, and when the video lag catches up. But yeah, so this is supposed to be a nice social environment for everyone to have a good time. Ask some questions if you have any questions that I don't necessarily answer in videos. Ask me personal stuff, not too personal though. But yeah, so let's get on with it. All right, I like that for now. So maybe we can play that. I should try to do some electro stuff. DJ Chasers by Electro, do you mean like electro house or like the electro sound? Because I'm working on a trap song right now. I could go over to electro house, even though I haven't done anything electro house in months, but it might be fun to go back and just, see what comes to mind. But yeah, so right now I'm working on trap. I've been liking, if you listen to Prismo at all, he's got a lot of cool stuff. I might even have he's got this really unique electro sound, and he may overdo it. I kind of think he overdoes it on some of his songs, where a lot of his songs sound exactly the same. Because he's trying to develop that distinct sound, but it isn't necessarily a bad sound. So I have one of his songs right here. Oh, that is not it. If I try. It might be a problem because my sound card is dedicated to FL Studio right now, so I might not be able to play other music, but well, let's just see what happens. And sorry, I've been kind of delayed, but yes, I was using Massive for a lot of the sounds, but right now I'm kind of working in Silent a little bit. I haven't used Silent in a long time, so I figure might as well. Like this little riff I was playing with, that's in Silent. But speaking of that, now that I listen to it, I want to take off that delay. Take off that delay. Much better. What is up, Vero the Best? Yeah, I believe I pronounced that correctly. But let's see other questions on here. Serum. I've heard about it. I've never used it. But the first thing that comes to mind when I do hear that, I know it's a plugin. I believe. I'm pretty sure it's a plugin. But Anti-Serum, if you guys haven't heard of him, he's a really sick trap artist that I like. So that's what came to mind when you said Serum. But I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I know that's a plugin, even though I've never used it. You need 808 for trap and lots of hi-hats. Okay, well, how about this? Got it. If you listen to this track. those are some 808s. Throw on a kick on top of that. Here's the hi-hats. I was just playing a breakdown section, which is why there's no hi-hats or 808s. I'm working on this. I have this intro where I build. It builds up that little pluck riff ARP thing. I don't even know what it is. I kind of found it on my computer and then built off that. But so this adds in a snare and a clap, kind of gets things going, and then it has a short little build up into the thick kind of drop sound, but it's not a drop. So it's a pretty nice ambient start, and then after that goes for 4 measures. Then I'm kind of working on the breakdown, which will develop into the melody, and then the melody into the drop. Do you do any sort of mixing? I'm skipping up. I'll just answer that, but I noticed I skipped a couple. By mixing, do you mean mixing in a DAW or in like a console, or DJing? Because for DJing, I run Tractor S4. I know it's kind of dark. There we go. I run Tractor S4 for DJing when I mix. I haven't mixed in a long time for a live audience. But I do mix, and I haven't, like I said, I haven't done too much lately with it just because I've been busy focusing on production, and I did move houses, so I lost connections to my old promoters who used to book me for clubs, venues, and various stuff like that. So did too much lately, but I do mix DJing. But also in my school we do have the recording consoles, the giant 24-track audio and mixing consoles. So I do also have experience with actual mixing and, adjusting faders and EQing and everything. Essentially what you'd find in an electric mixer. That makes it sound like a kitchen tool. No, not like an egg beater. Like a digital mixer, like in a DAW, such as Logic or FL Studio or Ableton or whatever you're using. It's just where you send all your tracks to be mixed and effects and everything. So what would you say is your goal that you want to reach, for example? I would love to play at Ultra. That would be a dream come true. That, I guess it's kind of hard to say what my true dreams are, because Ultra would be incredible, but I'm not striving to play at Ultra, if that makes sense. Like, of course I would love to play there, but that's not my top goal. I mean, I do have my long-term goals of where I want to be, but the focus right now is kind of these short-term goals. And for the most part, it's getting my music out there. I've been working, like I said, I haven't been DJing too much lately because I've been focusing a lot on production, because I do have some labels, or at least access to labels, and some labels that are kind of looking at me. I just need to get them an EP or enough to put their trust in me to sign them, or vice versa, scratch that. They need to put their trust in me enough where I can prove to them I'm going to be putting out enough content where they can sign me and feel confident in me being signed by them. So I'm trying to get a lot of stuff out there, which is hard because a lot of one track is hard enough, and having to put out a 4 or 5 song EP, it's going to take a while. So I'm also juggling an extremely vigorous school schedule. So it's kind of, it'll get there, but now is that awkward phase where I really want it to be done, but I also don't want to do a half-assed job. So I'm going to really spend my time on it, and it might take longer than anticipated, but at least when it comes out, I know it'll be good. So I would love to play at Ultra, like I said, but my goal right now is just kind of, I guess, be signed, I would say, but it's also open to whatever happens. Getting my name out there, SoundCloud is almost as good as being is as getting signed, because it gives you a fan base and it gives you a decent enough um, structure to work on, and you're not just some no name out there. Do you know main influences in the music industry? Um, in no particular order, like top, let's say 5 artists that I love. Dylan Francis. I love Skrillex. I was never a huge Skrillex fan, to be honest, until I saw him live in concert, and he just blew me away. And it was the first trap artist I saw, and I've never been to a trap concert, and I hated Skrillex just because of the whole like dubstep thing. People who didn't listen about it only knew Skrillex as their main artist, and so I kind of was like, I don't really like him for that. But then I saw him in concert, and I saw him and DJ Snake and Milo and Otis and What So Not, and they were all incredible. So that became quickly one of my favorite concerts. Any 808 packs? I use these Tri Samples Trap Step pack that has a lot of good 808s. But yeah, if you really need a particular one, I'd say your best bet is to make one, and I might make a tutorial. I think I have a tutorial. Yeah, I have a tutorial on how to make an 808 bass. So basically what you would do to get to that to get your particular sound, if you want the 808 to be tuned to a specific pitch, you just Google frequency or like note frequencies or something along those lines, and it'll bring you up a chart that says what notes are at which frequencies. And then in the tutorial, I think I use 50 hertz as the example, but you just go to whatever note you want it to be. So let's say it's an A, and I know for a fact that middle A is at 440 hertz. So then you just divide by 2 each time going down an octave. So 440 is A4 or 5. It's one of the two. So then you divide and get 220 hertz, and then you'll have A4. Let's just say A5 was it might be A4. So let's say A4 is 440 hertz. Then A3 is 220, and then A1 is, or A2 is 110, and just keep dividing by 2, and that's how many notes you get. But you could just look it up. It's a lot easier than me trying to figure it out in my head. Do you have any suggestions for beginners? I got a Mixtrack Pro 2 a few weeks ago. That's not a bad mixer. This was my first console, or my first mixer, so I kind of skipped that whole phase that a lot of people have with mix tracks and Newmarks, and they're not horrible controllers. But the biggest thing that is what you want with the DJ controller is not how good it is to start off with. You want to get good at the muscle memory. So a lot of people have been practicing on virtual DJ with just the mouse and clicking and using keyboards, and that's fine. You can understand basic concepts of beat matching and mixing and various concepts like that. But you really want to get used to the muscle memory, because that's what makes you a lot better in the mixing industry. But yeah, you want to get better at knowing where the buttons are and that type of stuff. And yeah, how old am I? I am 19 years old. Why don't you make music more often or videos? I have an extremely vigorous schedule with school. Could probably even check it on here. I have a 12-hour day tomorrow from 1 p.m. to 1 a.m. So I get very, very little sleep, and it's a vigorous schedule, but it's only a couple of years, so I'll get through it when I can. And if you guys like this type of thing, then I'll definitely do more of these Q&As or something similar. I don't know if I'll find a different format than YouTube, because I know Twitch offered me some like partnership, but I've been doing. Sorry, I'm reading some questions. I would be doing like different types of stuff over on Twitch, like live sets. So I'm not too sure exactly where this will go, but you know, YouTube seems to be pretty good for the most part. Do you use a lot of free plugins? I guess I would say I mean, by plugins, I'm assuming you mean like VSTs for instruments. I don't typically use a lot of free ones. The most recent one I can remember using for an actual song would be, I use Fruity Slayer in Gypsy, and that comes with FL Studio. It's not an external one that you would download for free. I believe that's the only one I've really used recently. My three favorites that I use are Massive, Silent, and Nexus. And the reason I say Nexus is not because it's a great plugin, just because it's quick and easy, and you can just click a sound, and it has a decent enough piano where you can play a couple chords, get a gist of what you want it to sound like. Sorry, I'm still trying to read some of these. Sorry. So yeah, I was saying it has a nice piano, so you can get the gist of what you want, and then switch over to another plugin. I do know there are some ones that are supposed to come with the producer edition of FL Studio, like Citrus, and I don't even know on here. Citrus is one of them that's really good, and then there's Harmer and I bought those too, so I'm not sure if they're free with a particular version of Fruity Loops. So I haven't used much, even though I bought them. I haven't used much of them, but I probably should, because there are some really cool stuff you can do with them. Oh, Wasp is another free one that's pretty good in FL Studio. You can use that for a really good pitch bend riser. I might have a tutorial on that, or I might have watched a tutorial on that, but there's a way that you can get a really nice sounding pitch riser on that for a build-up. That sounds really good. So any other questions I missed? Yeah, you sorry for being kind of far behind. You don't need to pitch the punch, just the sign, yeah. Because the kick is just a little knock, and then everything after that is the sound you're hearing. Would you be interested in entering the deadmau5 remix contest? Well, happy early birthday, because it's in a couple days, and I've thought about it. I actually downloaded the stems for that Dylan Francis remix contest with deadmau5. I thought of entering it, but you know, I think the thing ends in like 5 days, 4 or 5 days, or 6 days or something. What's today? The 20th. Yeah, it ends in 6 days, and I don't think I could bust something out that I'd be proud of, and I don't think it'd be worth submitting, because there's already thousands of entries in there, and mine would just get lost, and it just wouldn't be ideal. So probably not, but I did download the plugin, or not the plugins, the stems, just in case I did want to mess with them later, or make my own remix and just not submit it for the contest. But yeah, so I thought about it, but I just decided not to. Tractor and Decadence are pretty cool if you don't have a controller. Never, I mean, obviously I have Tractor, but I've heard of Decadence, but I've never tried it out. Gemini V2. Okay. I've been using FL Studio for 6 or 7 years, I believe. I think that's the number I gave earlier. I've been using it since I was like 12 or 13 years old, but I've only producing songs for 2 years, roughly, like decent quality songs, enough where I'm proud of releasing them. then use Serato since you have an external controller. Yeah, there's always a big debate about Serato and Tractor, and I think it's just personal preference. Just like what was a big one? I can't think of it right now, but there's a big dispute that that everyone would have. I don't know. It's just personal preference whether you like. I mean, Serato, even if the tracks go vertical, and you don't like that, I believe you can switch them to horizontal like Tractor. So it's all personal preference. I mean, it's kind of like just PS4 or Xbox One. It's the exact same thing. Just whatever console exclusives you like, get that console. I mean, graphics, everyone complains. I'm probably going to start a turf war in the comments about people saying which system is better, but trust me, they're all the same. PS4 has a slight graphical advantage, but you know, you're not going to notice it to the point where it's going to destroy the experience for you on Xbox One. So there's my 2 cents. Skrillex uses Tractor with some and some other DJs. I know that Zed uses Tractor, which is one of the reasons why I got Tractor, because I used to be a huge Zed fan, and I did see him live as well. But I thought Skrillex used Serato, but I could be wrong. Because I know for a fact he uses Pioneers. I know he uses the S4 Mark II, but Skrillex uses the CDJ 2000s. What piano plugin do I use? I guess Nexus. I don't use piano too much, but when I do, I layer it with a couple Nexus pianos because it sounds pretty good. There isn't one Nexus that sounds phenomenal, but you know, if you layer them pretty well, they sound enough. And I used to use Philharmonic. I don't think I have it anymore, but that's a pretty good plugin that has really good brass sounds and really good orchestra sounds. So I used to use that a lot, actually, when I used a lot of orchestral sounds, but I think I lost it, so maybe I'll get it another time. What are the best? I already read that. Recently started the demo, and it's incredibly complex. I don't know what demo you're talking about, so if you answer that, maybe I could tell you. Excuse me. So Tractor's easy to use. Or are you talking about? I'm assuming you're talking about Tracker. Yeah. So those have been some of the questions. I'm sure I'll get a lot more, but pretty much just answer straight questions for about 15, 20 minutes, so I can get back into working on this a little bit. I actually have heard of that site called Equipment Board. Music is my future career plan, Juggernog. Yeah, I'm actually going to a specialized school that only teaches music, and so I don't need to learn any of the science or math or English classes. I mean, I think I have 1 or 2 English classes throughout all of 2 years, and they only take a month each, so they're a minuscule part of the program. And I'm here to learn recording arts and how to mix and master and all this stuff because I want to do this for a living. So I thought it'd be better to get a proper education and learn it the proper way from professionals rather than continue to self-taught or self-teach myself, because I am self-taught. So it's been going pretty good so far because I've learned a lot, and I've only been in the program for a couple months. So my songs have already been getting a lot better because I've been implementing bits and bits that I've been learning in school towards my production. So it's definitely been benefiting me so far. John Lobbin, where'd you get all your samples for FL Studio? I have just collected various packs over the years. I couldn't even tell you exactly where I got them. Like I have deep house packs, I have hip hop packs, I have big room packs, I have electro house. A lot of them, I shouldn't say a lot of them, but some of them are vengeance packs because they have a lot of nice samples. Um, and yeah, they're just various, even some no name sample packs that are just some guy uploaded on the internet. You just kind of got to search around. Everyone has been saying that hey form all the time, but that's not necessarily true. That they're always out there for free, and you gotta look. And I mean, make your own samples too. If I know a lot of people sample other people's songs, and it may be a little bit harder than just clicking and dragging in a sample, but I know for a fact a lot of people who wanted to grab that big kick from Martin Garrix's Animals. If you've heard the song, most of you have. Anyway, the very first kick of the drop has nothing layered on it. It's just the kick. So it builds up and says we're the animals, and then it goes boom, dun, 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 dun. And so if you notice, the very first the very first beat actually is only the big room kick. So I know a lot of people were chopping up that song and taking only the kick from that, and now they have their own big room kick. So uh, just little things like that that you can look out for and grab your own samples. I know a lot of people in the industry do that, where they sample each other's tracks, and that's actually like if you watch a lot of interviews with real professionals in the industry, and they sample a lot from vinyl, from the old records, and they'll record different samples and implement them into their songs. Because I know I remember seeing an interview with like Diplo who did that, and I believe Zed does that in some of his songs. So some of the older LPs that they used to listen to, they like to implement some of those sounds into their newer tracks by sampling different sounds from that. So I thought that was pretty cool. Just get a nice chord progression. All right, so a couple more questions. I live alone right now. I mean, I would be living with my parents, but I'm 19 years old, and being that I moved out for college, I used to live in New York, and I go to school in Florida. So, parents aren't going to follow me across the country. So, alone. Let's see what else we got here. It could be my internet too. That could be. I mean, it could be just a combination of both. I'm guessing most people can understand pretty clearly. It might be laggy here and there, but let me know in the comments if it's bad. My internet isn't incredible here. It's a fast download, but uploads iffy sometimes. So sometimes there might be little spikes of lag where I might cut out. But other than that, I think it is pretty good. So let me know if besides those little juts here and there, let me know if it's pretty smooth. I'm assuming it's all right because you guys are all asking questions and seem pretty happy with the answers. But yeah, there's not too much I can do if it's completely laggy. Uh, Believe me though, Juggernog, even though I do go to a music school, I have very little time I can spend on production of my own personal stuff because this school is a condensed school. So I have 4 years of classes in 2 years. So I don't get any breaks. I don't get any summer break or winter break. I just go straight through for 2 years. So for the next 2 years, it's going to be super, super vigorous and intense. But I'm 5 months into it. So I got about a year and a half left, and it'll fly by. All right. Oh yeah, I definitely got better over years of experience. I mean, every time you get behind, you learn new things, and use YouTube, use your resources. Try to learn as much as you can, and use YouTube to learn effects and techniques and fundamentals of the software. Don't use YouTube to copy a melody. Well, you can. I shouldn't say that because a bunch of people have copied melodies off me, and I've copied some melodies too. But um, don't kind of copy them, whoever actor, word for word, or exactly how they do, because how you make an impact in the music industry, how you kind of make a spark and let people know who you are, is by doing something different and implementing new strategies. So um, basically you want to use it to learn the software, to the point where you can develop your own techniques and make something new and bring out something new, so people will see you apart from the others. You don't just want to be another big room house producer, or another electro house producer, or another trap producer. You got to do something different. That if you notice, if you look at all of the artists, and all of them have a very different sound, and that's how they got up there, and that's how they're famous, is because they all do something very slightly different, that stands apart from all the other people. Exactly what they do. You need to invent your own things, and yeah, so that's kind of make your own sound, and that's kind of the hard part, is finding your own sound. But once you do, I know you'll thrive. Do you know any patterns or something like that to make melodies, or you're just jamming randomly? I don't necessarily understand that question. Or you're just jamming randomly? I mean, I'm making music, if that was your question. I guess you'll have to rephrase. Blaze J 1911. But yeah, I mean, when you're playing something, if that's what you're asking, I can hear melodies in my head that where I want to go. I mean, so I kind of know where the song's gonna go. More questions. Um, Mr. Baby's Arm asked, is there any way you can make a tutorial about automating effects within the context of a track? That is super easy. If you're down to learn right now, I can teach you right now. I wish I could show you kind of on my screen, but all you have to do is, if you have an effect such as Fruity Reverb that you need to automate, just go on the parameter that you want to automate and right click, and you'll see create automation clip, and that will create an automation clip in your playlist that you can drag. And if it's a external plugin, such as Massive, that's not in FL Studio, all you have to do is move the knob twist the knob of whatever parameter you want to affect. Click the drop down button in the very top left corner right next to the gear, which is the settings. So click the drop down and go to browse parameters, and that will open up a window on your left hand side where the browser is, and it will have all the parameters that you can automate, or all the parameters that are listed for that plugin, whether it be Massive or Silent or any third-party plugin, and then just right-click on whatever parameter you need to automate, and again select create automation clip. So it should be lit up if you move the parameter and then click browse parameters in the drop-down box. The one you most recently selected or tweaked should be highlighted in the browser bar. So that's pretty easy for that. Other than that, I think there's another way up top. Yeah, you go to Tools, Last Tweaked, and create automation clips. So you can tweak a knob and then go to Tools, Last Tweaked, and that will, if you select Create Automation Clip, it'll create a clip for the parameter that you just tweaked most recently. So that's a good way to do that. Are you related to How to Make Music? You guys sound a lot alike. No, I am not. Although I've never even heard his voice, because from my understanding, unless there's more that I haven't seen, all tutorials I've seen of his just have a text box. He doesn't talk at all. He could have other videos where he's talking, but from all that I have seen, he just has a box where he just types in all the stuff, which is one thing that I don't really like, because I prefer to, listen to someone doing it instead of just reading, because he has good tutorials. They're very in depth, but sometimes they're like 15-20 minutes long, and I don't really want to sit there and read for 15-20 minutes when I can just scrub through, find out what I need to know if someone were talking, and they would explain it. But yeah, he still has good tutorials. All right. Let's try to find some chords. I don't like that sound. I might change it though. Voicing. See how that sounds. Do I like anime? I'm not a huge anime fan, but I'm not against anime. I mean, this isn't like diehard anime, but I used to watch when I was a real young kid, like some of those Cartoon Network anime shows, and whatever. I mean, Pokemon's kind of anime. I used to watch Pokemon, and everyone's played Pokemon on their Game Boy. Come on. But I mean, I'm not against anime. I'm just not a huge anime fan. Will I make a video of my setup? I mean, I could bring my computer around right now. It's not a huge setup, and it's super messy right now because I just have been disorganized. But put that on without moving that cord. That's essentially my setup. I have an Axiom 25. It's nice. It gets the job done. I wish I had a longer one, whether it be a 49 or a 61. For my main audio driver, I use a Complete Audio 6 by Native Instruments, which is a great audio interface. To deal with the audio for the stream, I have an Avid Fast Track Duo interface. I have dual Acer monitors. The mic over here is a Behringer C1, which that's what I use for most of my tutorials. It works out pretty good. The mic on here is some Sennheiser one that my school gave me, E835. That is the model, in case you're wondering. Over here, there's not much, but it's just my mixer, or my controller for mixing. Here's the computer that runs all my music, the HP Pavilion, Pioneer HDJ 2000s. They are my favorite headphones. They're incredible quality. And for speakers, I have high quality computer speakers. They're not monitors, but I actually do have Alesis studio monitors on their way. I'll probably get them later this week. I ordered them prior to Christmas, but just because of shipping and everything, and it's taken a very long time to get here. So I'll get those soon enough, and then I'll have nice studio monitors. But that's my setup so far. I have some other stuff laying around, but that's all my music gear. I think I was trying to do a gear setup video type thing, but I just never got around to it, and I didn't see much need for it. But I mean, if more people are wondering, I guess I could do a more in-depth one. But that's essentially all you need to know about my music stuff. There isn't too much that I have that's, you know, uncommon. It's just a MIDI keyboard, couple mics, couple audio interfaces. It's nothing too special. It's not like I have any synthesizers or patchwork that I need to be doing. Like, I'm Deadmau5's studio. I mean, of course he's a millionaire, but his studio is incredible. She's just got patch bays on patch bays and just synthesizers on all this analog equipment, and it's awesome what he does. Are you making music? Yes. And yeah, I can play what I have so far. It's not too much, but I'll just play from here in a sec. Are you trying to get signed by a label? Yes, that is pretty much my goal right now, is to get enough stuff out there so I can be signed. But for Sean Burke, here is what I have so far. Hopefully you can hear it decently enough. I mean, it's not gonna sound great, and I don't even know if you could hear the bass, but here's just this little thing me and some other kid were kind of putting some thought into. Oh, that's not gonna work. There we go. And this is essentially where I've been leaving off. I just have that melody that I was working on coming in. something about automating effect. I was asking more about the flaw. Well, there really is no like philosophy on where you would put effects. I guess it's all circumstantial on the song, and it's it's you as an individual where you want to put those effects. And as far as automation, like the most automation I normally do is filters, and I'll just fade in a filter of an effect like I did in the beginning of the song, where that little plucky riff was coming in, and it kind of faded into the song. But other than that, I've seen a lot of automation and modulation in like you'll have like an LFO map to massive or something, and then you'll just automate that. So instead of just having a constant, like when you push down the key and it activates the synth, it won't just be one constant wub 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 wub, because you obviously have to set a modulation rate. So whatever you have that rate set to, it will be a constant rate, which is why a lot of people modulate it. So so in popular dubstep tracks, you won't just hear a constant like wub 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 wub. You'll hear like wub 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 wub, and that's them automating each them automating the LFO to different levels, so they can control when and how much, and basically all the parameters of the LFO, which is low frequency oscillator or something along those lines. But that's all having to do with the modulation and how much the sound is moving. Okay, so Blaze J reworded his questions saying, if you have no idea for a melody and then you use any pattern or something, and you're just improvising keyboard until you hear something good. This is, I mean, I'm sure this is a huge relatable problem for a lot of people, where you just get brain fart, and you can't think of anything, and this happens to everyone, and there really is no a way around it. But even think about professionals. You listen to a professional and you're like, how did they come up with this? But it's like, think of, for every song they came up with that sounds like that, think of, they're no different than you and I. Think of all the songs that they think are crap. Even if for us we might think they're amazing, but for every one song that they produce that sounds phenomenal, they have probably 10 tracks that are just abandoned files on their computer. Not everything they make is going to be perfect. So that they're no different than you and I, and I'm sure they're in there. I mean, that's their job. Think of how many files that you have that are dead and abandoned, that are just stored away and never will be anything. We do that in our free time because we have day job, we have school, we have all this stuff. They do that for a living, so they're always making music. So just imagine how many files that they abandon. So like when you can't think of anything and you're just stuck, just get inspired by things that are around you. Like I remember I was watching a video on YouTube, and I heard this little ding or something that caught my attention, and then I just suddenly got an idea in my head, and then immediately paused the video, went over to my computer, and started working on a song based on that sound I heard. Because it just, you never know what it can come into. There have been plenty of songs where I've made a melody and I forgot about it, and then I've come back and I've heard it, and being that it's been months since I've heard the melody or the little riff, or even if it's just a chord progression, that month or so that's been by, I would highly recommend just coming back to files, because that's what happens with me singing, and I'll think it's crap, or I'll forget about it, and then I'll find it months later, and you'll have a brand new idea, and you'll take that track in a whole different direction. So I'll look for your own work and inspiration, and it's not really like there isn't too much I can say where do this and this helps, because it's really all particular to each person and each artist. But I would say don't limit yourself. Like I said before, like always try to invent new ways to come out. So you never know. Just experiment with different stuff. Post whatever you got on SoundCloud. If people don't like it, then tough luck. Nothing happened. You can never go. You can only get bigger. You can never get smaller. I guess. I mean, for someone like me who's, not really up there, the only thing I can do is just try different stuff out. I'm not really in a position where, one bad song is going to ruin my career, considering I don't even have a career in the music industry yet. So, I kind of like that chord progression that's in there. Yeah, I think I like that chord progression. Let's put some drum beat in there, see what that sounds like. Another thing to answer whoever asked that question about like brain, just experiment with different stuff. So like this probably won't be how the song will end up, but I'm just trying different chord progressions, see what sounds good with that little melody I made, and just work off from there. Just try different sounds, be experimental. Don't forget to ask other questions if you have any. Other than I think I've pretty much answered most of them. If I missed one, you can ask it again, and I might see it at the bottom, being that the questions have slowed down some. But yeah, so I don't know what time I'm going to end this. It is 7:45 my time, so guess I'll probably end this around 15 minutes, and I could probably do more of these if a lot of people like them. So let me know if this is a good idea, and I can maybe do these once a week or so, depending on my schedule. I'll get on that. Give the people what they want. What's my favorite food? It's a tough one. Does Chinese food count as just food in general? Because I mean, maybe General Tso's chicken or sesame chicken. Now you got me thinking about food, but but I definitely love Chinese food. That's one of my favorite choices. If going for takeout or something. But individual food, I'm not really sure. I eat anything. Food is incredible. That's a very good question. Bastanian. He asked why stream on YouTube as opposed to alternatives. I have had representatives from Twitch come out to me and ask me to be a music streamer per se, and stream stuff like live sets and stuff like that. And I've had actually two separate people come to me at different times and offer me that position. And so I set up as that guy, and I set with a like an account that actually said that, because supposedly on Twitch you're not allowed to stream anything but video games. And I had brought that up when the guy had emailed me, and I made sure to tell him that, like, are you sure I'm not going to get banned for doing this? And he said, just put these credentials on your account, and a Twitch administrator will see that and will allow you to post that stuff. So I set the account up, and I was ready to do music stuff. My internet here is not great. It's a really fast download speed. It's like over 10 megabytes per second download, which isn't insanely fast, opposed to my friend here who has 130 megabytes download, which is more internet than you would need ever. But so I have about a little bit over 10 megabytes per second down, but my upload speed is crazy low for some reason, and I don't know why, but that might be why the stream is cutting out here and there, because it can't keep up with it. But I've tried streaming live sets and Q&As and other stuff on Twitch, and I might do it again in the future to see if it works and to see if I have a better following. This broadcast peaked at around 17 people, which isn't bad, but especially on such short notice, because I mean, I've gotten more before, but being that it was a very short notice, and I think I put up the notice for this like 10 minutes before I broadcasted. So in the future, I might give a little more heads up, but on Twitch, it's pretty much the internet problem. I've never really had experiences on YouTube that's bad, and I think it's a little bit easier to get in touch with my people. Well, by my people, I mean you guys, my fans, people who follow me, because they know me from YouTube. So it's even like my SoundCloud doesn't have nearly as many followers. My Facebook doesn't have nearly as many followers, and Twitch is the same way. So I feel like this is the easiest way to get out to people, because although it may not be as nice of a platform to live broadcast as Twitch, and the chat might be a little different, and I might need to run off two computers or something to make it good enough. But I like YouTube just because whenever I post a live broadcast and you guys go onto YouTube, on your homepage, I believe it says, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it just has a box like a thumbnail for my video that would normally say this is his video, but instead it says live now. So being that I have 25,000 subscribers on YouTube as opposed to, 100 followers, or I haven't checked in a while, but let's say 150 on Twitch. Um, Even though they get a notification that whenever I go online, if they choose to, this is just a better way for me to get more viewers and more people interactive with my stream because, um, so, it's a better platform for me to interact with people. So, Tuar 56, Tuar, whatever. I believe I pronounced that right in one of those attempts. He said, "What's the best way you learned how to use FL Studio other than your own videos?" Well, that's the thing, is that I make videos on a lot of things that I was never taught. Being that I'm assuming when I look up something, I'm not the only one that has that problem. So I try to upload videos that there aren't too many on YouTube. As some of you know, I'm completely self-taught. I've never, besides now where I'm learning music dynamics in school and actual sound design and everything, I've never had formal teaching on anything music, and let alone DAWs or any digital audio workstation, which is what DAW stands for. So for that matter, it's kind of hard. You kind of have to find a good tutorial here and there, and even if there's a bad tutorial, use what you learned and kind of figure it out. It's a lot of making mistakes and learning from your mistakes and playing around with different stuff. You have to spend a lot of time in the software to learn the software. There really isn't, that I've found, at least for free, anything that will sit you down and say, this is this, this is this. Now, I did start a tutorial about effects that I'm going to be putting out, every couple of days, that I have a couple recorded that I've only uploaded one. And it's about really in-depth tutorials about different effects and parameters in FL Studio, such as Fruity Reverb, Fruity EQ, and that type of stuff. So you can look forward to that type of stuff. But other than that, sorry, it's kind of hard to focus on what I'm saying and look at and read other people's comments. But yeah, so, you kind of have to find tutorials here and there that are good, and take what you can from each tutorial. How to make music was brought up earlier there. He is a pretty good tutorial guy. Varian has some music theory tutorials which are really in depth. A pretty good. Varian's a really talented guy. And I'm not really, I don't remember too. There's a couple other people. One kid who's called Call Me Quincy or something, where I've seen him. I think he's got 10,000 subscribers or maybe 5,000. His tutorials are all right. He's not bad at production, but sometimes he's just a little iffy with explaining things. So there's that. Let's see, when did I start making music? I started about 6-7 years ago. Some guy, Burrick, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that last name, but Burrick, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He said, "Play sound, man." I'm assuming he means by this song. So once again, for those of you who haven't heard this, I'm just going to play the intro to the song I've been working on throughout the stream. And speaking of that, Bastanian, that is a good idea. I should be using both resources, Twitch and YouTube, for the best results. But I'll get around to it at some point. I'll get into it, but for the time being, YouTube works pretty well. But yeah, that's where I left off on that song, and some of you may have noticed earlier I was working on this little riff. I'm probably going to add a lot more to that, but it's a good starting basic riff, and then I threw in this chord progression that's about to come up. So there's that, and then you could throw in some kick and whatever, and it'll sound like this. I don't think I want to add that right there right yet. So, all right, so I think I'm gonna end this stream any minute now. So I'm gonna give a couple minutes just for anyone else who would have any lingering questions. I believe my there is, I don't know if I put it on here. Yeah, it is in the description. So go check out any of my videos. If you want to get notified whenever I go on Twitch, my link is in the description for my Twitch profile. So being that Bastanian brought that up, I may start streaming a little more on Twitch. So yeah, it might for those of you who are talking about yeah, I was saying throw down some last questions before I end this, but I'll give it another like 5-10 minutes before probably about 5 minutes for you guys to filter in some last questions that you were wondering. But about the Twitch, it is free to stream on Twitch, but like I said, I'm not sure about the music part because I know I did hear from a friend who streams games on Twitch that you're not allowed to stream anything other than video games, or your account could be flagged or banned, or any of those. You know, they'll basically put a block on your account or whatever if you don't stream games. But one of the reps did come out to me and asked me to do music, so yeah, I'm not too sure about the music part, but yeah, if you want to do video games, it's 100% free as far as I know. You need whatever capture device you need or you're going to use, whether it's going to be your computer, then you can use something like OBS. Mr. Baby's Arms said he's been learning from opening up demo projects, and for other viewers, that is a pretty good way of learning. That's why a lot of people ask for FLPs, is just so they can go in and look at what they're doing and why it sounds like what it sounds like. That's a good way to learn. The only thing downside about that is you won't necessarily know what's going on. You can see what's going on, but let's say you have all these channels routed in the mixer, and you don't know. You can see what's channeled where, but you don't know why they did that, or various stuff like that. So that's one of the only downsides that I see. But favorite genre. I come from a really heavy electro house and trap background. Well, I shouldn't say trap background. I come from a very heavy electro house and progressive house background, and that was a lot of my original productions were made in that genre, and the 128, 125 to 130-ish range. So around usually 128, and I'd make some Melbourne bounds here and there, and a lot of my songs on SoundCloud are actually Melbourne bounds because I used to love that genre. But lately I've been doing a lot of halftime stuff and a lot of slower stuff. So I've been making some trap in 80s, 90s BPM. Like this song's in 140, which is like the stereotypical trap BPM, but I wish I would have made it 1 or 90 if I hadn't already started the project and then worked off of it. I had made something that sounded decent at 140, and then I started developing it into something completely different, but I just kept 140. So that's the only reason why this stayed at 140. But yeah, I've been doing a lot of stuff in halftime lately. I've never used Fruity Patcher or FL Studio Patcher or whatever. I think I know exactly what I'm talking about, but no, I've never used that. Yeah. Um, let's see. Just scrolling through, see if I missed any questions. All right, so that just should do it for this stream. I hope you guys got all of your questions answered, and I'll make sure to do more of these in the future if you guys like them. Normally, I'll give a little more heads up and advance notice, so you guys can actually anticipate when I'll be on instead of just like hopping on YouTube and seeing that I'm just randomly streaming. So yeah, I'll make sure to give you guys a little heads up. But as always, it's been Digital DVFX, and thanks for watching, guys.